KFX Group. We're back with another video, and today I'm going to be giving you a very powerful strategy, right? A strategy that will definitely make you money if you follow the rules, right? So now our main topic and what we're going to be focusing on here are areas where banks are transacting, right? And I'm going to show you how to identify these areas and why these areas are important. Right, so the first example that I'm going to speak about here is a downtrend or a drop phase. Right, when we have a drop phase, what the market will do is the market will give us a drop, base, drop. If you guys don't understand what base areas are, I have uploaded a video on that. Do watch that video, find the link in the description. Right, so now as you see in this down phase, what we have is a drop, base, drop. Right, a drop, base, drop, and then as you can see the market will make its way back to that area because this is where there are some orders that need to be filled, right? And then a continuation, right? So what we're going to basically look for in a down phase or a downtrend is we're going to be looking for a brief consolidation, right? A very brief consolidation where we'll find a drop, base, and another drop, right? If we can identify this in the market, we will be waiting for price to make its way down, up back to this area, to our sell zone, right? And this is where we'll be then focusing and looking to enter the market, right? Having our stop losses above this area, and we can have this area down here as your target, right? Now it goes the same way with your buy zones, right? You're gonna have a rally, base, rally, right? And the area that you're going to focus on here is this buy zone, right? You expect price to come back there, and then you have a continuation up with a stop loss below. Right, now that for some people might be confusing, but I'm definitely going to make it very easy for you guys. Okay, so if we go to a clean chart, this is what we'll find. Right, let me take you to BTMM. Right, so remember on BTMM what's very important, right? What we want to focus on here is the pattern, right? We want to focus on the pattern, never throw away the pattern, right? Because remember, this is basically the backbone of this method, right? The pattern, right? So as you can see, this is our H4 time frame. This is a nice reset, right, with a nice peak formation, and after that reset, what we had a drop, a week of drop. Remember, this is your H4 time frame, a week of drop, a 1350 crossover, a nice trap above that, right? A second week of drop into a consolidation, and a third week of drop. And as you can see, we then had a reset around this area, right? So we're going to focus on what happened and where were you going to wait for these trades. Okay, now if we go to a clean chart, remember this is our peak formation area, right? If you look at how price was moving, price pushed down, right? Let me just change the color. Price pushed down, right? And as price pushed down, price broke previous structure, giving you a lower low, right? Making that pull back and then finally breaking the structure, right? As you can see, this move down here. But the areas that we're going to focus on is the areas where we have a brief consolidation, right? A brief consolidation. In this type of areas, this is the area that we can expect or anticipate a movement, which can be a reset for the next week, right? Let me turn on my period separators right here. So remember, this is our H4. So this was a full week of drop, right? A full week of drop, and as you can see, the market made its way back up here, right? And this is where we had our peak reset in another week of drop, right? But why is that area important? Right, remember, we go back to what I spoke about, right? If we are in a down phase, right, in this case we've got a peak formation, so we know the direction, right? We've got a drop, a base. Remember, we said a brief consolidation, right? We're going to look for a brief consolidation, and if we go to the H1, where is our brief consolidation? Here, this is where we had our brief consolidation, right here. Yes, right there. That's where we had a brief consolidation. What did we have? A drop, base, right, and a drop. Right, now to make it very clear, just focus on your H4. A brief consolidation was seen with clarity, right? Now, one thing before I forget, when you are looking at these areas, in this case a drop base drop or rally base rally, you need to make sure that the move, right, this impulse right here needs to have a very clean momentum candle, right, which will show you which will tell you a lot about this area when it comes to orders, right? Same thing on your rally base rally, you're looking for a very clean push out, right, that will give you the confidence to execute when price comes back to this area. Okay, So if we go back at this is what we have, right? A drop base drop. Can you see that candle right there? That candle right there, right? Said a lot about that area. And as you can see, price made its way up. In this case, if you're counting your cycles, you've got level 1, level 2, and then this is where we actually had a reset, right? So what did we have? Drop base, drop base drop, a very brief consolidation there. And as you can see, it did take a while for price to come back, but this was after the cycle was completed, right? So let's go back to our BTMM, right? We've got a peak formation, fine. First level of drop, right? A peak reset the next week, right? And then we've got a drop base drop, right? Drop base drop, right? And in this case, what was actually good about this is we have a 1350 crossover, and this was actually a nice pullback to the 50 EMA. Let me just remove that so you can see it. That was a pullback to the 50 EMA, but with the rules that I've given you guys, that was actually a very nice area. Remember, we are looking for areas where banks are transacting, and these areas are where these orders are left, right? As you can see, so they have to fill those orders. So as you can see, very aggressive moves to the upside, and we had our peak reset, and you had the opportunity. Of course, you won't trade off the H4. You need to minimize your risk, so you definitely go to your shorter time frames and try by all means to minimize your risk. So in this case, if you were watching this area, right, with your stop loss above, in this case, if you did risk your trade off your H4, that's 52 pips. I wouldn't do that on a single trade, but this went down for over 284 pips, right? So if you had minimized your risk, trust me, it was going to be a nice trade. And as you can see, a clean trade, right? And it's the same thing. So we've got level 1, level 2, level 3, and we had a peak formation, right? The cycle is seen clearly, as you can see. And as you can see, after the peak formation low, we had level 1, level 2, and we had a peak reset. This is what we call a peak reset. But where did this peak reset happen, right? It happened right here, right here. This is where it happened. We had a brief consolidation, fine, right? You can see it in the H1 there. We had a very brief consolidation. Remember what I spoke about? We want to see the momentum candles moving out of that area. That's a clean candle that tells us a lot about this area. And as you can see, that is exactly where we had a nice pin, right? A very good risk to reward right there. Risk gain, you can risk, you would have risked like 25 pips, and it went down for over 259 pips, right? So this needs you to be very selective. I know some people would think, this guy has actually cherry picked pairs, so I can go random on any pair, right? It will be the same thing and the same rules, but remember, you need to be very, 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 very selective. All right. So let us find a very good example. Okay, so right here, right here. All right, by looking at this, of course, if you're looking at your higher time frame, we had supply right there, right, and then we had a drop base drop, right? This is a very brief consolidation. That's what we're looking for, a very brief consolidation, and all we're going to do is we're going to wait, right? Remember, as price goes down, we need to have a confirmation of structure being broken. So in this case, we have a lower low, right? And you wait for that area, and as you can see, price made its way up and gave you a nice pattern. Remember, what's the a checklist there? You need to make sure the candle that goes out is a momentum candle, and to validate that, as you can see how price actually moves out of that area, it says a lot about that area, right? I can show you examples of a lot of examples, right? It's there, but you need to be very selective, guys, right? You won't find it on every pair every day. You need to be selective, right? Same thing here, rally, base rally. So this is actually our base area, right here. This is actually our base area, as you can see, where we had that momentum candle. Here's that momentum candle going out, right? So this is the area that you would wait for, right? This is the area that you would wait for, and as you can see, price actually made its way down there aggressively, right? And then we shot up, right? You can see the aggressive moves as price leaves these areas. Here's a very good example right here. We had a peak formation, right? A structure breaker, fine, right? Structure breaker. Remember, drop, base, drop. Now in this case, this is a rally base drop, sorry guys, but what we're interested in is the same thing. That brief consolidation right there after structure had been broken. Look at that. Price makes its way up there, and we continued going down. right? So you need to be very selective. We can look at another pair, an exotic pair. Yeah, let's check this one out. Right, so if you can understand it this way, here's a nice one: drop, base, drop. We can see how the candles not that strong, right, but interesting, right? This was the area that you're supposed to keep an eye on, right? That being your base area where those orders are kept. So you can see how price moved out, how price reacted there, aggressive moves into that area, and a very nice move away from that, right? So this will help you locate your peak formations, right? This will help you locate your peak formations, right? Here's a nice one here, right? It's everywhere, guys. It's everywhere. We have the same thing here, right? Rally, base, rally, remember? So this is our base area, and remember, the candle that breaks out is very important. Look at that. That says a lot about that region, right? Fine. Price makes a move up, breaking structure, right? Breaking structure, and then coming back to that area. And then this is where you can then enter your trade. And as you can see, these are very powerful areas, right? These are very, very, very powerful areas. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope this, you need to do some big testing, of course. Do a lot of big testing, right? But it will help you, right? It will help you. Let's just find a very good example. This one. Did price make it? Yeah, price made its way there. Look at that. As price was dropping, we had a drop, a brief, very brief consolidation, very powerful moves out, and price made its way up there. This was actually a peak reset right there, and then we continued going down, right? So you need to big test it, right? Here's a nice one: rally, base rally. Of course, you know that you're going to the upside. You've got a 1350 crossover. Let me just delete this. A 1350 crossover to the upside, right? A break of structure. Price continues. Here's a rally, base rally. So it means you're going to be watching this area right here. And remember, the candles are very important in this case. Yeah, it was not that bad, right? It was not that bad, but as you can see, price made its way down to that area, which was actually the first pull back to the 50 EMA, and we had a very beautiful impulsive move to the upside. All right, guys, I hope this helps you and assists you, right? If you have any questions, do drop them in the comment box. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell icon, and do not forget to join our Telegram group channel, right? Find the link in the description below. Money is the servant.